Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Heart and Health Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and I'm so glad that you are here. If this is your first time tuning in to Heart and Health Wellness, just know that this is a nice, casual, relaxed place. You can see the kitties join us. I keep it simple and laid back, and that is by intention and design. But we are talking all about how you achieve true health and wellness by attending to your biological, psychological, social, and spiritual well-being and needs. And today we're doing something kind of fun where I asked ChatGPT to break down and create images based on certain levels of biopsychosocial spiritual wellness. So I did 5 different images. So today we're just going to kind of talk through what each of those looked like and why ChatGPT might think that one is better than the other. So it should be kind of fun and a little bit of a socially experiment going on. If you missed last week's episode, it was all about finding purpose and making sure that your life is aligned with your values. So make sure you go back and listen to that episode. I think it was a good one. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so like I said, I put in some prompts to ChatGPT and asked it to give me just like basic to more impressive to the most impressive types of wellness and what that looks like for someone. And so we're going to break down what each of those levels are looking like and what they entail and which parts of that you should be striving for and which ones you can just kind of not worry about because maybe that just looks good on social media, but isn't actually relatable or applicable to your own life. So we'll think about it. Okay. So we're going to start with something that's very basic biopsychosocial spiritual wellness. And then to one that's like super polished, maybe that the billionaire level wellness aesthetic that is just not realistic or not what we're aiming for, but kind of entertaining either way. And so each step is going to add certain elements that are going to make it seem like it has deeper or more complete integration of biopsychosocial spiritual health. So I will be posting probably a video, maybe a carousel of these images on my Instagram. So if you aren't following me yet on Instagram, make sure you go find me at Heart and Health Wellness so that you can see these pictures because I think they're kind of entertaining and it's fun to play with ChatGPT. I don't know about y'all, but I play with it all the time. And so it was fun to see what it came up with, but it's going to be easier to understand what I'm talking through if you can see it. I will also be adding some pictures of that in on the video version of this for YouTube, or if you're watching the video version on Spotify, you should be able to see it, but it's just going to pop up quickly. So if you really want to be able to see it and kind of sit and study it yourself, make sure you go and check that out on my Instagram. For the very first prompt, I told ChatGPT, show me a person with basic biopsychosocial spiritual health. If you're not looking at it, I'll put it on the screen or you can go look at the Instagram. But if you're not looking at it, the first picture is a woman who's got her eyes closed. She's just in the moment. Her hands are together. She's holding her hands and she's smiling and she's outside and she's wearing a backpack. So maybe she's going and doing something. I don't know. She could be in between classes. We don't have any idea. But she looks happy. She looks healthy and things are looking positive for this woman. But she's in nice casual clothing. So it's natural lighting. It looks pretty. It's a modest setting. So maybe she's in her backyard. Maybe she's on a nature trail. We can't really tell, but it's outdoorsy somewhere. She's wearing simple clothing, nothing fancy, but she has a nice, peaceful, pleasant demeanor. And so what we can interpret from this image or this level is that this is someone who engages in basic level wellness practices. So things like getting outside, maybe even exercising outside, which is nice. Having kind of like a calm and present demeanor, really being in the moment. Socially, she may or may not be connected to others. That part's unclear because she's by herself in this picture. And then spiritually, maybe there's this implied connection to nature because she's outdoors and she's enjoying that time. So this stage is really representing just a foundational level of wellness. It's very approachable. It's very realistic for most people. And there's still lots of room to grow here. Now, I want to encourage you, if you are someone who is just tuning in, or maybe you've been listening for a while, but you're still not to the point yet where you feel like you've achieved even this basic level of wellness, I don't want you to be intimidated or feel like there's something wrong with what you're doing. Just know that regardless of where you're at in the process, there's always going to be opportunity for growth and improvement. And this is supposed to be just something that's fun and entertaining and maybe provide some insights of something that you feel like you might be missing that you could add on. And as an extra side note, if you have not already taken my wellness blind spot quiz, I would encourage you to do so. It's totally free and it just takes a couple of minutes to do it, but it helps you figure out which area of that biopsychosocial spiritual wellness you are missing in your life, or maybe you are unintentionally neglecting. So I would encourage you to go ahead and take that quiz if you haven't yet already. I'll put the link for it down below in the show notes, or you can find it wherever I'm at on social media. Then for the second prompt, I told it, show me a slightly more interesting person with really good biopsychosocial spiritual health. This woman is the same woman from the first picture, but this time she's sitting on the ground, like on a blanket. She has a water bottle next to her. She's holding a journal that says heart and health on it, which I think is really funny. I guess we need to create a journal, and maybe it's a planner. And then she's got maybe a journal in front of her that she could be writing in. There's what appears to be maybe a couple or some friends standing behind her, and then another man who's sitting behind her, I guess another friend. They're outside in what looks like a park. Everybody's smiling. They look happy. Again, the eyes are closed. I don't know, maybe because it's sunny outside and they're squinting. I'm not sure, but their eyes are closed. So they look positive. Things are going really good. This time they gave me someone who is around friends, which I thought was a really nice addition on here. So this person is smiling. There's a sense of physical closeness with others. They're still outdoors, which I appreciate. There's sunshine and kind of this bonding moment of doing something together. It's very colorful and they have coordinated clothing. So it makes it look like there's kind of this cohesiveness, which is nice. So what can we interpret from here? Well, biologically, they're still being active and they're still outdoors. Maybe they're hiking, but they're at least outside enjoying nature. Psychologically, there's definitely positive emotion. We can see that from those smiles and the relaxed looks on their faces, and they're sharing joy together, which is really nice. Socially, there's this strong peer connection. They look similar in age, so we can assume maybe they're friends or in relationships with each other. And there's a sense of community there, which feels really good for folks. Now, spiritually, it might be connected to like some sense of awe when you're in nature. I think I've talked about that before, like when I went to Alaska. Yes, I know we talked about that. So maybe some sense of awe from being in nature, or at least a sense of joy by sharing this experience together and having fun together. So in this picture, the way that we step it up is really by having that social and psychological aspects of the health and wellness enhanced. So really having that connection and that shared meaning that can help boost your overall wellness. Now, one of the things that I like to highlight when I talk about biopsychosocial spiritual health and wellness is that we're not just focused on how we're eating, how we're moving our bodies, or how we're spending time in some quiet and peacefulness by ourselves. Those things are really important for biological and psychological health. But for us to have really solid social health and even spiritual health, we need that connection with others, and we need that shared experience of joyfulness, of being connected to something bigger than ourselves. So I really appreciate that ChatGPT did a good job of amping it up a bit. I want to take a quick minute to remind y'all about We Are Alma. I talk about them all the time because I absolutely love them. I am still loving my necklace that I got for Mother's Day this year. If you have a mom in your life who, or you know someone who's about to become a mom, this necklace, fantastic gift idea. The Cocoon nursing cover, fabulous gift idea. The New Mama bundle, fabulous gift idea. If you have a baby shower you're going to, you need to check out We Are Alma. You can either use the link that I've provided down below, or you can use the code Melissa and get 15% off your entire purchase. But seriously, moms love gifts from We Are Alma, so do not miss out on that as an option. For prompt number 3, I said, now show me an impressive person with great biopsychosocial spiritual health. And this time it's an older woman who's standing confidently. She's holding the water bottle that we saw in the second picture, which I think is funny. She's wearing a nice outfit that's put together. She's outdoors. She's smiling, but not showing her teeth. And in this one, her eyes are open. She just kind of has like a peaceful gaze about her. She's by herself. So it's kind of like we moved backwards there. Okay. But she's still in nature. And in this picture, she has her arms kind of open. So some of the visual cues that we're getting from the picture is that she has a very strong posture. Her arms are wide. Maybe she's feeling free from that, whatever things might be bogging someone down who doesn't have good wellness or health. An intentional fashion choice. So the first picture, this lady is in more casual clothing. And in this picture, she's got it a little bit more dressed up. Now, the only thing I'll say about that is that I always joke that when my nails are painted, you can tell I'm doing really, really well. I'm someone who likes to be comfortable and casual most of the time. That's just how I am. I enjoy getting dressed up every now and then, but usually if you're going to see me around hanging out with family, I'm feeling good, I'm in something comfortable, right? And so maybe my outfit's not going to be impressive, but if my nails are done, you know that I'm doing really good. So I joke about that because that's a way that you can tell I'm doing well. Maybe for ChatGPT in this situation, they were thinking that this person is like really putting their outfit together. And so they're thinking about their intentional fashion choices, and that's suggesting that they're doing better. I don't know. But biologically, this is still an active person. They still look pretty physically fit. They have some kind of energetic body language going on that shows that they're feeling good. Psychologically, we can see the confidence there. We can see the self-expression and the vitality in her face. Like she looks like she's got it put together and got it going on. Socially, she's in solitude, which for them, they are suggesting that indicates balance and some intentional self time. So I'll jump on the bandwagon here and be okay with that because I do think it's important to have quiet time. I do think it's important to have time to yourself to self reflect. And if that's what we're going with here, I can be okay with that. But I do miss that she doesn't have other people around her. And then spiritually, it looks like she has some clear connection to purpose and awe and being part of something bigger and still connected to the outdoors and enjoying that aspect of her wellness. So, okay, I'll get behind it. I'm not sure that I really see this as a step up, but this is what ChatGPT is seeing. This image, compared to the others, adds a certain level of symbolism, of empowerment, and agency that's often associated with that self actualization or thriving. So, really taking it up to the next level of I'm doing awesome. And maybe one other piece that it didn't point out here that I'll add, she's older in age. Maybe some of that is also coming from wisdom or life experience, having been through it, having figured it out. And now she's finally at a place of being really solid. One of the things that I pointed out in one of my posts this week on Instagram was that I want this podcast to be something that is for all ages, all generations, that you can take these wellness tips and tools and apply it no matter what you're going through in life. And I think it's important to recognize that no matter what stage we're in, we're going to experience challenges. And sometimes we think if we could just get to this next level, it's going to be so much better. That's not always true. It's just going to have new challenges. But with each stage of life, we also have greater experience and greater wisdom, and that can help us along the way too. So maybe that's where it was headed with this picture of this woman who's really got it figured out and she's feeling strong and grounded in herself and what she's got going on. So we'll go with that. For the fourth prompt, I said, show me the most impressive, amazing person with the most wonderful biopsychosocial spiritual health in the world. And it gave me, at first I thought it was the same woman, but I think it's a different woman. Maybe like a younger version of that woman. It has brown hair. Anyway, she's standing outside. She's holding hands with her son, who looks to be about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, maybe, with a golden retriever. There's a book or a journal sitting on the ground next to her with a rock on top of it. Everybody's barefoot for some reason. I think that's interesting. And then there's another couple standing back behind her that appears to be together romantically. Maybe it's a brother and sister situation. I guess we don't actually know, but they're kind of like fuzzied out, soft focus, right? So we can just see her, but we can tell that she's connected to the other people around her. This time it brought people back into the picture. And I was like, yay, we have the social part back. But this is a nice, clean, and luxurious environment. We have that soft lighting and their serene gaze. It just looks nice. She's very groomed and stylish, and there's a very intentional aesthetic. So I'm asking for it to be a little bit more fancy, a little bit more foofy. And this is where I also want you to pay attention to the fact that some of this is being drawn out by what social media might say looks good, right? But we don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes. So all of this is assumptions that are being made from this picture, or symbolism that we're gathering from this picture. But it's just, again, for entertainment purposes, right? So what can we get from this picture? Well, biologically, she looks well rested. She looks like she has a healthy appearance. She's got what appears to be good biological physical health. Psychologically, there's a sense of stillness or emotional regulation, like she has her wits about her. She's cool with what's going on around her. She feels confident and comfortable, and things are good. Maybe socially, there's some implied sense of security in her life, or just her sense of safety and having good boundaries, which I thought was interesting. She does have people around her. And so she just looks really, she's got it going on. And then for the fifth photo, I said, or for the fifth prompt, I said, make it even more impressive. The most amazing biopsychosocial spiritual health and wellness that only billionaires can afford. And in this photo, it's probably the same woman. Yeah. I don't know, she looks even better rejuvenated. I think she has a better skincare routine. She's holding the little boy's hand. They're both smiling. They have their eyes open. The dog is there. They look like they're traveling in like Italy or something. I don't know. It looks very nice. There's boats and water in the background. And there's that other couple in the background too. So again, we can assume that there's some social interaction going on here, a sense of community and things like that. She also has the journal there with her, with the rock on top of it. It's so funny what it comes up with. Okay, so let's talk about interpreting this picture. So we've got the woman, her son, the people in the background. Biologically, she looks rested and healthy. Again, we can assume that she's got good physical health from what we can see, right? We don't know if there's any hidden illnesses or anything like that, but from what we can see, she looks well. She probably has some extra support, maybe from nutritionists or trainers that she can afford to hire on. Psychologically, there's sense of like stillness and emotion regulation. She's got her cool. Things are good for her. Things are well regulated in her life. It looks good. We're not seeing any signs of stress, although she has a young son and a dog. So I'm sure there's at least some level of stress there. Socially, there's an implied sense of security, feeling confident and comfortable. The dog is with her, maybe a sense of safety there. There's some boundaries with the other people behind her. They're close by, but they're not too much. You can tell there's some wealth there and some influence that likely fosters maybe some support systems that are available and things like that. Spiritually, she still has that journal there, so we can assume that she's doing some reflection maybe. Is she still barefoot in this one? Yes. Barefoot and everything, which I think is really funny. I don't know if that's because ChatGPT isn't comfortable with shoes or if it's suggesting that you need to be grounded with the earth. I'm not sure, but I think that's funny. She looks like maybe she's aligned, maybe even meditative. Now, this is the ultra polished elite wellness. This is the opulent setting with sophisticated woman. Okay. She's at this expensive, beautiful area. There's like villas in the background. You can see the ocean. There's very like nice, pretty detail in the designs. Her fashion is put together. There's a high gloss kind of filtered perfection with this picture. It's very picture perfect. Things look good on the outside. So in this version, we really see that it is emphasizing someone who has refinement and peace in their life and wholeness. There's kind of that inward focus for wellness, maybe, and some outer reflection. This is what Instagram would want you to think, right? I want you to be aware of that sometimes what we see on the outside is not what's really going on the inside. So just keep that in mind. Again, this is supposed to be a fun activity for us to go through today. This level, really intense, reflects access-driven optimization. You have the opportunity, the time, the money, the resources, the support systems to remove those daily barriers from wellness, from health. And so this is something that's maybe aspirational, but not necessary for meaningful wellness. And that's one of the things that I want to make so clear through all of my messaging is that it does not have to be big and fancy. Now, if you can get to this level, that's fantastic. I'm happy for you, but it's not required to achieve health and wellness. Health and wellness can be in the simple things, the mundane pieces of our life where we find joy in what is simple. It does not have to be big and fancy. But for this fun example, we can look at this as something that could possibly be aspirational. Okay, so why does each step feel better? Each level of these pictures deepens the pillars of biopsychosocial spiritual wellness. So each time it adds some type of connection, especially with friends and nature and purpose, especially when we have other people, pets, children, family members, or friends, things like that. Having that connection makes wellness better. It also enhances the stability. So in our body language, are we sitting and are we slouched, or are we sitting back, shoulders are upright, standing in a confident posture? What is the body language saying about how this person feels calm or confident, has a sense of security and clarity about who they are, and what they're doing in life? It also embeds some intention, whether that is in style and how they're dressing, or how they're styling their hair, or what environment they're in, or how they're standing, but some kind of intention about what they're doing and how they've been put together and how they're holding themselves. And then some of them evoke some transcendence or having a certain peace or presence about them or purpose. Now, I would say in all of these, I've asked for a picture of health and wellness. So in all of them, the person looks like they've got it together and things are good, but it gets a little bit more intense with each level. Overall, these images visually illustrate the truth that wellness is layered. It's not one dimensional. There are these external signals that often reflect what is happening internally or that internal alignment, but you do not need luxury to access the most important parts. That growth starts with awareness of what's going on with you, how you're feeling, what you're experiencing emotionally, how it's all connected. And then that expands outward. Okay. What you do with your wellness on those small levels of making it a little bit better for you in your life individually with your circumstances is important. You do not need to compare yourself to these other versions. If your aspiration right now is to achieve that basic level, I think that's fantastic. What's one little thing that you see in that picture that you want to try and apply to your life? If you're at that medium spot and you want to go to the most extreme version, fabulous. What's one little thing that you can change? Maybe planning a trip for yourself or your family, making time to be by yourself in nature and not around everybody else and giving you your time. Whatever it might be, pick something to practice this week and apply to your life without doing so in a way that's comparative to others, right? We're not making ourselves feel bad about what we aren't doing currently, but feeling excited about what we could be doing and how we could tweak our lives just a little bit to make it just a little bit better. Okay. This is about growth and having a mindset of opportunity rather than being frustrated with ourselves for not being where we want to be yet, and being okay with where we're at and feeling excited about where we can move toward. Okay, so that was the fun exercise. Again, if you want to check out these pictures and see how I did it, feel free to play with these prompts in ChatGPT yourself, or go look at those pictures and enjoy the entertainment portion of this. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. If you thought this was fun or interesting, make sure you share it with someone else who would also enjoy it. Make sure you follow me if you aren't already on social media. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. And I created Facebook, but I haven't done much with it yet. But everything is at Heart and Health Wellness. So connect with me there, send me a message, give me a follow, interact with this post because I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. And make sure that you are connecting with me somehow, because I want to be able to figure out who's listening in, how I can best support you. Let me know if you have requests about what to cover in future episodes. I like hearing from y'all very much. Also, if you haven't taken the quiz yet, make sure you do that. Figure out what your blind spot is so you can start to attend to that more intentionally and help you achieve better whole person biopsychosocial spiritual wellness. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time, take care of yourself and be well.